Not an empty chair, just a prop, but not so much a prop. Okay. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to my little dojo and my dance studio, all in one beautiful package. My name is Hector Brito, and I'm here to share a concept. It's a beautiful concept. It's my introduction to you, my listener, and my curious friend. So before I give you all the details as to the hows, let me tell you the why. And it's a really quick story. It's a beautiful story. In fact, um, it's a story that takes many years, and it will take me that long to cover it. Okay, so really briefly, here's what happened. I was, I have been a martial artist since I was a little boy. I was 5 years old when it all started. Right, I grew up in Puerto Rico, and part of my culture is to dance. My grandmother, my aunts, everybody's always dancing. Crazy enough, in my culture, they would even dance with a knife in their hand. So that's why you have the blades. I grew up in a time in my society in which everybody carried a bladed. It was called what is called a bladed society. Okay, so here's how it goes. I grew up with knives, machetes, and my aunts carried a 9 inch blade about, and they would put it in the ground, and sometimes they just hug you with it in their hand and dance. That was all natural to me. Now back to a story when I'm in the United States as an adult, and I see I'm actually eating at a restaurant outside, and there's this lady with her daughter, with her son, and we get to having a conversation about martial art. She tells me, to make the long story short, she says, if you could figure out a way so that I could have martial art class at the same time as my son, I would come to your dojo. I would come and learn from you because right now I waste my time and going to take my son. And that was just when cell phones were, when the flip phones and all that other stuff, the Blackberries, that time season. So phones were not that popular. Nowadays, everybody can sit there and burn up a lot of time. However, that did not change the hunt for me to solve that problem. I have discovered the solution to that problem, and that is what the introduction that I want to give you today. Now, let me jump to another story because there's probably a good 10, 15 years in between the two stories. Okay. So um, I'm still doing martial arts. I always have. I just it is what I do. And another lady in North Carolina, an attorney, she asked me a question, and we get to talking about martial art and about dancing. And I really don't know how those two conversations came together, but the bottom line is that there I was talking to an attorney about this, and she says to me, you know, um, if you could make martial art a fun thing, I think everybody would like to be involved. And I immediately put out my hand to her. I said, "Do you want to dance?" She looked at me. She looks back. She looks around. I said, "Do you not know how to dance salsa?" That was a challenge because she, like myself, are Puerto Ricans, and I knew exactly how to entice her to um, to taking the next step. And in that moment, she said, "Well, of course." And so I said, "Well, in that case, will you dance with me?" She accepted, and we began to dance. And I'm going to demonstrate in just a moment. But what I want to tell you is that in that process of dancing with her, I showed her martial art moves that actually created an awakening in her about martial art. She already had the dancing part. Approximately a year later, after that conversation, I was invited as a guest speaker to a large audience of women. And by that time, I already had created the concept that I'm introducing to you today. The concept is I like to use it because I think it's best described with two powerful words, and it's called Krav Rakdan. I'm a I am a Krav Maga instructor. I am a dancer by culture because I love to dance. I'm a dancer by choice, and so I put the two together. Krav, which is like the art of fighting with your hands, and Rakadan in Hebrew, which is to dance. And so you can call it the Dancing Warrior. That is why I've called this the Dancing Warrior. All right. So now that you know the why and how I got there, I'll talk to you about the how in just a moment, and we'll cover a little bit of the what, and then that'll be an introduction for today. So the what is that um, there's salsa, merengue, and tango. All three of them have different components that actually create a system. And then there is Krav Maga, Filipino martial art, professional boxing, and to throw in a little bit more, Spanish style sword fighting. And I'll cover all of these things because they are the foundation for the um, Dancing Warrior program that you are being introduced to. Okay, so now that we've given you the why, we're giving you a little bit of the what, let me give you the how. So back to my story about the lady, the attorney. I offered my hand, and I will demonstrate. Okay, I offered my hand. I said, "Well, dance with me." Just open hand, right? I turned sideways. She understood. The moment she put her hand in my hand, I reached out and put my hand on her waist, and it looks like this. She comes closer. I step a little bit closer. And you notice that I turn my hand. We're still in contact, right? She's like this, and this is the how. And I put my hand on her waist, and I drop one hip. Boom. That means come towards me. She gets closer, and I straighten out. And now my hand's here. Turn my hand, and I push on her hip. One step. I curl my hand around her, and I bring her towards me. Two, three. I open this hand, and I turn her. She turns. She steps back because I'm pushing. She steps forward because I'm pulling. One more turn. I open my hand, push her this way, and she turns. Okay, that makes sense. This is the how. So this is a communication that she knew, even though she was not a full stranger to me. What she was a friend of a friend, and we were having a conversation. This is the second time I had met her, and so we just evolved into this wonderful conversation. I took this conversation and then I used it as in one of my seminars before, like I said, a large group of Latinas. Now, on that day, I asked for three volunteers: one who knew how to dance tango, one who knew how to dance merengue, and one that knew how to dance salsa. These ladies volunteered because it's natural to them. This may not be natural to you, but I can guarantee you that by the time we're done in these few courses together, this will be as natural as it is to anybody else. Okay? We're going to help you with this process. So now, that is the why, the what, and the how. I've given you a little bit of introduction here so that you can see how that works. I hope that has been helpful to you. And now that being said, there's a martial art part component of it. Okay, and that is easy to explain because if I'm doing the same movement, right? Let's say somebody is going to, attack me for whatever reason. I don't know why they would want to do that, but so instead of putting my hand like this, I can bring my elbow up, right? It's the same movement in this hand, right? Bring it here. So now a black, a step forward, and I can push on the person's hip, I can push on the person's shoulder, and I can bring my elbow up to protect against the attack that's coming this way, right? Hand comes up to protect, and I'm pushing. I'm just keeping the hand in that position because that's how I asked her to dance. Would you like to dance with me? It's no different than if I went same action, different intensity. Now, to show you the other action, right, which I turned her very gently, so I can feed an elbow and turn the person, say, put up my hand, and I grab their forearm. See that? It's the same, very similar motion. Rather than push and open up, I'm going to grab the arm, and as I turn, I would basically same thing. Boom. So martial art and dancing come together in a beautiful marriage called the Dancing Warrior. That, my friend, is what you are about to embark in with me. When we're done, there's etiquette for dancing, there's etiquette for martial art. We'll show you all those things.